Welcome to the Fourth and Short podcast, the breakdown of the hottest topics on the Schuylkill League sports scene, with your hosts, Eli Doyle and Leroy Boyer.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first edition of our T102SportsNow.com podcast called Fourth and Short. We're here at the Schuylkill Haven Area High School Sports Performance Center as part of the Schuylkill County Football Coaches Association Media Day here in July. And we are joined, myself as Leroy Boyer. This is Eli Doyle. We'll be hosting the podcast. There'll be a weekly podcast on high school sports in Schuylkill County every week. We are joined in our initial segment here today by two members of the District 11 Class A champion Minersville football team, quarterback Dante Carr and running back Easton Schultz. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
So, how's summer been? Started off right away for us. How's the summer been?
You go first.
Oh, very good. Like, football-wise, been working a lot, and the team ready to go.
Yeah, we've been working very hard. We got a new coach in the weight room that's been pushing us really hard in the weight room and conditioning. So we're just excited to get out there and play.
What kind of camps have you guys gone to this summer? I know you kind of make the tour in the quarterback camps and different things like that. What kind of camps, what kind of drills, sessions, seminars have you gone to make yourselves better?
I've been going to my QB coach, Jim Catholic, a lot over the summer. I was very lucky enough to get invited to the Elite 11 regional camp at a state college, and then went to Penn State, Maryland, had a couple of visits at Lehigh, so I was busy this summer with those.
And me, I just been going to a lot of camps, working on a lot of running back drills and linebacker drills, getting the footwork down, on explosiveness. Yeah, just staying at the grind.
So the elephant in the room for the Minersville Miners this year, losing your tailback from last year, Luke Stevanovsky, was a hardworking, no-nonsense guy, pounded the trenches, just everything that you wanted in a Minersville running back. You've fallen in that role. How do you fill in? Tell me about it.
Well, I've been working a lot with Luke in the weight room with a lot. He's helping me out with a lot of footwork, showing me stuff that he did. But, I feel like might not be able to fill his shoes completely, but definitely be a big part and with his work and just ready to showcase what I could do.
So 2 years ago, it was like Houston Cougars run and shoot offense where Dante would drop back and throw it every play. Last year, it was more of a ground and pound offense. If you can, what kind of offense should we if you can tell us, what kind of offense should we expect from the Miners this year?
I think you're going to see a little bit of both, running the ball, throwing all over. Yeah, I'd say a little bit in the mix this year. We have a good running back in Easton. Receivers are working really hard. Our line can do pass block and go down on run block. So I think it's going to be a mix of both this year.
What was it like to win a district title? I mean, you had a big interception in the semifinals. I remember talking to you after that game. You beat Marian down there at Blue Mountain, make it into the state playoffs. How exciting was that?
It's a feeling I never had before. I know I never saw a Miners team. We haven't done it in 20 years, so being able to do that and, all the fans, pretty sure at least 50% of Minersville was at that game. So, it was just awesome to be a part of that.
It was great. It was see all of our hard work paid off. I just feel like that's what we deserve, what we worked for. It was just a very good feeling.
It's a new year. It's a new season. You got a little bump. We're going to Class 2A this year, right? How do you feel about that? What's going to be the challenge of getting back to that playoff pedestal now with 2A?
I'll just stay where we're at and keep working like we are. No problem. But
yeah, I'd say a little more competition now, more teams. I believe there's 12 teams in 2A now, so a little bit longer of a playoff. It's more football for us, and that's what we love. So we're excited for it.
The schedule changes. Okay, so you have Halifax in week 1. That's a non-league game, but then you'll have 9 league games against all Schuylkill County teams. No more trips to Penn Orville, Palisades, and Catasauqua. How exciting is that for not maybe just you, but your parents and the Minersville fans and the diehard guys, the guys that go to different establishments in Minersville without mentioning any free advertisement type deal, and just talk Minersville football all the time. Now they're going to get a chance to not have to get in the car and drive an hour to a game.
I think it's awesome. We get to play teams all around. We're Schuylkill County. Everyone knows everyone. So you get to play those teams, instead of, driving an hour and a half to a team you never heard of before they were on your schedule. So, I know I'm super excited about it. Everyone around me is super excited. A lot more fans, I feel like, will be at games now, closer drives. So, yeah, we're just all super excited for that.
Yeah, I agree with him. I feel like the Schuylkill County fans are better. Driving up to Allentown, the crowd was a little empty, but keeping it around gets packed.
Are there any games you're excited for, you're looking forward to this year?
Schuylkill Haven.
Schuylkill Haven, the game.
What about like a side question? Any pregame superstitions or anything? I'm always interested. What kids, what are they thinking before they get out there? What are they doing? Are there any pregame superstitions you want to tell us about?
Well, just like Haven, just keeping a target on Nico all game. Stop Nico. It's gonna be a good game, but that's definitely the biggest one that I've been looking at.
My superstition, throw my headphones on, listen to Tokyo Drift before every game.
What's significant about Tokyo Drift?
Week 1 last year in Tri-Valley, I thought it had a rock playlist on, but I guess I didn't. That song came up, and I got fired up, and we ended up winning that game. So from there on out, I just played that song before every game.
I throwing some NBA Youngboy before the game. That's how I get locked in my game.
Hey, so we're with Minersville's Dante Carr and Easton Schultz. They open the season against Halifax on August 23rd. We'll be right back with the second part of our Fourth and Short podcast. Okay, we're back with segment 2 here of the T102sportsnow.com weekly podcast, Fourth and Short. Joining us here in the second segment is Nativity senior Noah Dolbin, wide receiver, free safety for the Green Wave. Noah has verbally committed to the United States Military Academy at West Point to play football for the Black Knights. Welcome to the program, Noah.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about the Black Knights. Tell us a little bit how you landed on West Point, because, it's not something you hear about like every day. You don't hear kids talk about going to an academy, especially for a sport, So tell us a little bit about that process, how they found you, how excited you are. I know there's some connections, some ties there. So just go ahead and tell us whatever you feel like about it.
Yeah, the whole process, towards the end, it was kind of stressful because Villanova, they offered me, and it was January that I had that offer for a while, and then I went up to West Point for the junior day, and I was completely caught off guard by them offering me. Me and my dad was so surprised. He was so happy because I had 3 uncles that went to West Point. 2 of them played football. All 3 of them played football, but 1 quit to do track.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the connection up there. And I really didn't think that I would commit there because I had that offer from Villanova in the book. My dad he was pressing me about it. He was asking me questions. I was just thinking, it's like, am I really thinking about going to West Point? Because I had no desire to go there. And then I went up on the official visit. I had a great host. His name's Neo Basholti. He told me about his process, and we shared the same experiences, same thought process. Like in high school, he had offers from other small FCS schools, and he had an offer from West Point, but he was telling me he did not think he'd be going to West Point. Mm-hmm. So that just made me think. And then at the end of that official visit, I ended up pulling the trigger and committing.
So what was it? Was there anything specific on the visit that you just kind of, pushed you over the edge, that reeled you in a little bit?
I just think it was the symmetry that all their coaches had. They made you feel like you were first class. They really wanted you, holding doors, coming out of the hotels, holding doors. They had the car ready for you, walk you out. They had a coach there you could talk to the whole time. I was talking to my recruiting coach was Mike Brennan. He coaches the offensive line. So he always stays in contact with me, and it was just that sense of it's going to be a brotherhood, it's going to be a family. So, awesome. And they have top of the line facilities. They have great people up there. It was really a great experience.
Awesome. Tell us about the Green Wave 2024. So you went 5-5 your freshman year, lost in the first round of districts. 3-8 as a sophomore, lost in the playoffs again. And then last year you went 5-5, took Minersville to overtime, lost in the district semis. 16 seniors on your roster. I think 8 starters on one side of the ball, 7 on the other. Expectations are high on Top Lawtonville.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really excited. We have a bunch of great guys. We have guys that have been around for 3 years that have been starting, been playing. So I think this is our year. This is our year for Coach Mason. I feel like this is the year to do it. We have great guys. I want to go 10-0. We need a district championship for him. We need to win him a district championship. Alonso.
Defensively, you told me you play free safety. Tell people what it's like to play free safety. I mean, your linemen, your linebackers in the middle, cornerbacks on the outside, and the safeties in the diagram in the middle, right? Tell me where you play and what you look at play by play and what it's like to play free safety.
Yeah. So pretty much me back there, I'm completely free to do what I want, unless we're in, I guess, cover 3. But cover 1 will usually play, and I'm completely free. So now I play the alleys, watch the line, see what goes on, and then if line drops back, look to the quarterback, see where his eyes goes, and go make a play. So I'm completely free to go up and make tackles, go back, play the pass, get interceptions, whatnot. So it's the most fun that I have in the football field to play defense for sure.
Did Army say they wanted you to play wide receiver, defensive back, or did they just say, hey, we want you and we'll figure out where we put you when we get here?
I was talking to the wide receiver coach a lot, so they made it seem like it was going to be wide receiver focused, but anything could change. I could put on a lot of weight. I could play tight end. Comes around.
So just for those of you who don't know Noah, he is Nativity's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards already going into his senior year. So whatever he does this year is bonus on top of that. Those records stood since 1988. So that's how prolific the numbers he's put up. He's 1 touchdown short of the school record, which was 16. You have 16, I think. The record's 17. So big year ahead for Noah Dolbin and Nativity. Any final thoughts? I mean, you like to do the little superstitious type stuff.
Well, I have actually. We'll skip that. I'll hold that one for now. But I have one more. I thought something was really interesting. You said a couple minutes ago. You said, for Coach Mason at the end of one of your sentences, all these kids I meet that have gone through Coach Mason's systems, whether it's at Minersville, Nativity, there's something about it. There's something about him. Can you tell me what that is?
Why he just has a way of connecting with the players. Like he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing coach. You can just talk to him. You can talk to him for so long, and you can just connect with him. He's just like a guy you can look up to. He's a really great guy.
That's awesome. I thought that was a little interesting. Now I'll get back to the superstitions part. Tell me, is there anything Noah Dolbin's superstitious about? When you go out there for a game, is there anything on the bus ride, the field, pregame in the locker room? Is there anything that goes through your mind, anything you feel like you have to do? Is there anything you just don't want to share?
I'm not a huge superstitious guy. Coach Mason's a superstitious one, I think, because he's got his whole ritual before the game. He's got to stay quiet on the bus, got to get in the locker room, you got to focus up, and I think that's pretty much. I just go by his superstitions.
Well, I know me and Leroy are excited to see what the Green Wave does, and I know all the fans out there are really excited to see what they do this year. Leroy, you got anything else to add before we get out of here with them?
No. So segment 2, Noah Dolbin, senior wide receiver, defensive back in Nativity. This is our first podcast, so we're going to make the shameless plea / promotion at this point. When we do these different segments, we need commercials to throw in here. We need a sponsor. And if you're a Schuylkill County business that loves to support Nativity or the Minersville kids that were here a moment before Noah, feel free to contact us and let us know, because this could be the 4th and Short podcast sponsored by your business. So, and that would be an awesome thing. We'll be right back with the next segment of the 4th and Short podcast. Okay, welcome back to the 4th and Short podcast on T102sportsnow.com. Segment 3 of our initial podcast segment. Myself and Eli Doyle. We're joined here by Marian coach Billy O'Gurk and their senior leader Michael Galacco. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Thank you.
Coach O'Gurk, you take over for Stan DeCoste, who is a legend at Marian. I mean, they named the stadium after him. 44 years, I think he was the head coach up there in 2 different stints. Talk about him, what he's meant to you. You played for him, you coached with him, and what kind of impact he's had on you as a head coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here where the spot I am without him. Like you said, I went to school at Marian. I played football there in the late 90s, early 2000s, coached with them. And the last couple of years, he's really exposed me to everything that was involved in running a football program, whether it was the academics, discipline, scheme stuff. So coming into this, I sort of had my eyes wide open thanks to him, and he's continued to be a great resource. Just the other day, stopped at his house to go over some run game stuff with him. So it's nice to know that he's still there whenever we need him. I can just give him a call. He calls me all the time with ideas too, so it's been kind of neat.
Michael, what positions are you going to play for Coach O'Gurk this year, and how excited are you for the upcoming season?
I'm going to play tight end, defensive end, but I'm sure I'll find spots all around the field. I'm so excited for this year. Obviously, senior year, last go around. Just trying to get back to where we were last year in the district championship.
Yeah, last year you guys got to the district final, first time in a long time. Lost to Minersville down at Blue Mountain. What has to go right for you guys to get back there and take that next step and carry a trophy off?
Obviously, we have to stay healthy. Last year, that plagued us at the end of the year, and then we have to play more discipline. Too many penalties in that game, too many missed assignments, too many missed tackles, stuff like that. It's just small stuff, but it adds up over the course of the year, and that's what happens between wins and losses.
You're also a sensational punter.
Mm-hmm.
You've gotten some Division I type looks from people.
Yeah.
How did your summer go, and what kind of colleges did you go to visit?
Obviously this spring I visited a couple colleges, but early this spring I made my decision to go to University of Buffalo. So then this summer I visited up there for my official visit, and then all summer it's kind of just been workouts.
What can we anticipate under Coach Billy O'Gorek that we didn't see under Coach Stan DeCosta?
Well, I think our success last year showed we were on the right track, getting to the district championship game. So I was fortunate also that the entire coaching staff came back, so that has made the transition easy. So not a whole lot of changes. We are going to put some tweaks on things, like the way I've been telling the kids. Try to put our own spin, try and make things look a little bit different, but excited to finally get out on the field and start to put it into place. We've been at workouts and toying around with some of those things over the last couple of months, but now to finally get out there and be able to compete in our scrimmage and season coming up, start to see the results of those things.
You guys play in the Division III alignment of the new league. The cooperative changed divisions from 4 to 3. All 10 teams in Division III are Schuylkill County teams. You guys have your non-league game week 1, and then it's 9 teams from Schuylkill County. If you want to both comment, just how exciting is that? How neat is it not have to go to some of the trips that you guys have made? I know you went to almost State College the one year, up north of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton areas for games, Harrisburg area for games. You won't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Like you said, in the last couple of years, we played at Line Mountain, we played Catasauqua, we played at Catasauqua. So last year we only had one Colonial League team on our schedule. So it's not too much of a change this year for us. But the thing I'm excited about is that we get all of our traditional rivals back. Marian and Panther Valley historically has been our most played opponent, and we didn't get to play them the last 2 years because of the scheduling cooperative. So Panther Valley's back on our schedule. We'll get to play them every year, Mono area every year, Shenandoah Valley every year. So we get to see those traditional rivals every year again.
What's it like from a kid's standpoint?
Yeah, like Coach said, every single game has a history behind it almost, feels like. So every single game, the crowd's into it, the atmosphere, different rivalries, all of that. And then you don't have to travel those hour-long, like Lion Mountain that 1 year, 2-hour bus ride kind of sucked. So kind of playing schools our size and like all the big rivalries around it was great.
Hey, so my questions for you is, have to do with like Marian and how it feels to play for Marian, the pride you guys have being up there. Like I tell Leroy this all the time. I love walking into the field. Just that the brick and little metal overhang. It feels awesome, especially when you guys have the local rivalries going on. There's always people excited there to play. Are there any games specifically you guys are looking forward to this year?
Yeah, obviously, I grew up, my dad played for Marian, so I always got to hear about all the old rivalries between EV and Monterey. So they're probably the 2 big ones. And then even recently, since I've been here, Schuylkill Haven's kind of been a big rivalry for us, just between the kids' standpoint. So those are probably the 3 big games. But every game around here is a big rivalry almost, it feels like.
How about for you, Coach? Is there anything special, significant that sticks out about? I mean, you said you played there.
Yeah.
What is it for you?
Well, I'm from Summit Hill, so I live in Panther Valley. So my family went to Panther Valley, so that's always a big one. So I look forward to getting them back on the schedule again. Like Michael said, Schuylkill Haven, we've had some good wars the last couple of years, and we've sort of developed a nice rivalry with Minersville the last couple of years with some good games. So Coach Ronce does a great job, and he's been a good guy to me as I have taken over. So those are some of the games that we look forward to coming up this year.
Michael, some of the graduating seniors of last year, some names that stuck out. You have the Dino boys, your quarterback, Mr. Hopek. He's a great kid. What's it for you now stepping up in a leadership role that some of those boys might have held before? What's been different this year for you?
Obviously it's different for me because all those kids were like my best friends. They were my mentors when I got here. They were the first kids I ever met. They brought me all the way through. So now it's just trying to be what those kids were to me. Trying to take these younger kids and lead them with a pathway to success for the future years after I'm gone.
Awesome. What kind of names, obviously, the two big Rodino kids are going on defense. Need a new quarterback.
Yep.
Some names that we may not know yet on Marian football. I mean, I know Rory Dixon's back, your tailback, but give me some other names. Give a shout out to some of the kids who are working hard that'll play big roles for you guys.
Well, the heart and soul of our football team is going to be our offensive and defensive line. 4 starters back from our offensive line last year. Ada Milkovich, Julian Hermany, Zach Holt, Mason Soul. So those are all guys that have been through it. They all started in the district championship game. So we're going to go as far as they carry us this year. We need a quarterback, like you mentioned. We have 3 guys that are in main competition for it. Senior Dylan Rodino, Jesse and James' younger brother. He was our backup quarterback for the last 2 years. Nick Shigo's a junior. He was our JV quarterback last year. And then we have a freshman in our program this year, Greg Turpak. Good kid. We're excited about his potential. He's about 6'2", 6'3", so he's going to be a good football player for us down the road. Those are the 3 main guys that are going to compete to be our starting quarterback this year.
So have you gone to any of those guys and said, hey, listen, if you throw me the ball, I'll like you better? I mean, how, from a personal standpoint, and this is nothing against Coach DeCoste, I thought you didn't get the ball enough in the games I was at that Marian played. How are you going to figure in that offense, and how excited are you about the offense?
I mean, obviously I'm very excited this year. A lot of weapons have left, catching the ball wise, all of our senior receivers. So I know I have to step up into a bigger role. And obviously, out of those 3 quarterbacks, me and Dylan have been best friends since I got here. Me and Shigo have been throwing the ball a lot recently, and then Greg. So kind of just trying to see which one of them steps up and then build a relationship with them and go on from there.
Last thing for me, I've been asking everybody this, and this will probably be my thing going forward. Superstitions. Are there any superstitions that you guys want to reveal to us that you have, maybe pregame, getting ready for a game, anything like that?
So my freshman year, we were 0-7, and this game came out on my phone. It's called Retro Bowl. So at this point of the year, we're pretty much out of playoff contention. So everybody's down in the locker room before Nativity. We're all playing Retro Bowl, Not going to lie, we were not locked in as much as we usually are. And then we went out there and played the best game we've played in a long time. And we won the game, and then from there on out, it was kind of just play Retro Bowl for every game.
Who's calling the shots on Retro Bowl?
It was a lot of seniors, but you all got your own individual game with your own character.
Is that Bo Jackson game? Is that the Bo? No.
These kids are too young. Yeah, these kids, that's
Bo Jackson and Emmett Smith were always awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Coach? Anything for you?
Well, now that I know that they're doing that, I might have to collect the cell phones before the game, right?
Sorry.
I know exactly the game he's talking about.
That's on me.
I just around that, like Mike said, we were 0-7, but that was one of the biggest wins in Marian history. I tell Coach Pottsville that all the time because we had a long losing streak, and we were trying to get things back on track. And Nativity had a good team that year, and we knocked them off in overtime. So maybe it worked. So keep doing it.
If I remember correctly, the next 3 games after that,
we did. Yeah. Finished 4-7. We played a contingency game. We won 4, and then I think the next year we started off won our first 2 or 3 games too. So that was really like the turning point for Marian football in the last couple of years. That game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Thanks to Retro Bowl.
Yep, thank you, Retro Bowl.
My thing is I get a nice coffee on my way up in hometown. Yeah. Just about every game, coming up to Marian, I stop, I get a nice coffee and put it down in the office. Sometimes it doesn't get drank, but I still do it.
Folks, Marian coach Billy O'Gurk, senior Michael Galacco. You can see them on the gridiron this year. Marian, big things expected up there in hometown this year. That does it for segment 3 of the Fourth and Short podcast. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back here at segment 4 of the first edition of the T102SportsNow.com podcast, Fourth and Short. I'm Leroy Boyer. That's Eli Doyle. This guy here is Mike Brennan, now the football coach at Pottsville Area High School. Welcome to the program, Mike. How does that sound? Head coach, Pottsville Area High School.
Thanks, Leroy. It's exciting. Certainly throughout the course of my career, I never thought this would happen. So it's great to be there. Kids are great. Community's been very supportive, so it couldn't be more exciting.
Talk about the transition. You get hired in February, which is kind of late for a football coach. The winter workouts are all over. You got to jump right into March, April, May. The spring's here. What kind of troubles, what kind of hurdles did you have making the transition and getting started?
Yeah, we're a little behind in the weight room. First of all, a lot of our kids participate in baseball, track, a lot of spring sport kids. So we started the first week of March after I was hired. So we got to the United Way Challenge, for instance. We are a little bit behind. We made great strides and great progress, finished fourth overall, but we were a little behind the North Schuylkills and Blue Mountain, Schuylkill Haven, by established off-season programs. So that's one thing we have to address as we move forward, making sure we're keeping pace with everybody in our schedule. But other than that, it's been great. It really has been. So we've been there long enough now, got to know the kids, feel extremely comfortable. Again, a lot of support in terms of improving our facilities, our weight room, our stadium, that kind of thing. So it's been a great run. So we've gotten as caught up as we possibly can be from February on that.
As a proud Crimson Tide alum myself, there's a lot of new faces out there, with yourself included. Do you want to just highlight any of the, coaches you brought in? I know you guys have a new athletic director up there, some of the new faces of the football team.
Yeah, absolutely. The AD, BJK's got a ton of energy. Everybody's getting to know him. He loves football. He's a football supporter, obviously. Played at an extremely high level at the University of Iowa. Glad to have him on board. I've had Rick Painter with me for years since I started. Does a great job with the quarterbacks, very calming influence, and coached a lot of really, really good ones. Tyler Hartwrapp's outstanding. He's a future star with everything he does. He played for me. I kept in close contact over the years. Glad he's there, and he's taken a lot of pressure off of me. There's a lot of responsibility in this job. Even though I've done it for 25 years, I've had, I think, more distraction, being pulled in more different directions than I ever had in my career. So having a guy like that to take the reins has been really helpful for me. Joe Liptock has been a total culture changer for us in the weight room. Been around for a long time. Kids love him. High energy guys. Really helped us become stronger in the weight room, which will in turn make us more competitive. Anthony Kelly, Pottsville guy, played at a high level, great guy. Ian Redinger just came off a 6-year clinic at the University of Albany with a national semifinal and is an outstanding young coach, no question about it. Kurt Arrow's a long-time Pottsville guy. It's great to have Kurt around. And one of my Danville guys, Marty Palm, and young Pottsville guy, Tyler Hefner, on board also. So love the staff, great staff. Tony Barone's part of the furniture, with the equipment and special teams. So it's been really a great staff and really come together quite nicely.
So here's the question everybody asks me, Mike Brennan. So your position at Pottsville Area High School is the graduation coach.
Correct.
Explain to people what that is, because that is you're not an English, math, science, social studies teacher. You're kind of everything.
Yeah.
And explain that role.
No question. For instance, I worked all summer. After our football workouts, I came up from 12 to 3, and I had a group of kids who were still trying to get through and trying to help out and trying to get prepared for next year so they're not behind. A lot of tutoring, a lot of online work, a lot of communication with their teachers. Act 158 is new in Pennsylvania. Okay, so you actually have to pass your Keystones to be able to graduate. I do all the Keystone coordination with the test scores, with retests, and orchestrating everything. Because if you don't pass your Keystones, there's other pathways we can get you through to graduate. So I do all that. So again, since COVID, it's sort of a new phenomenon. That I think more and more schools have somebody, even though maybe it's not tagged graduation coach, there's someone in the building doing that, whether it's guidance counselor or administrator, somebody's taking care of that. We're just big enough at Pottsville where we need a separate person to work in conjunction with admin and work in conjunction with guidance. That's exactly what I do. And it's been great. Love it. Kids are awesome, and we can really help kids. And I feel like we've saved some kids throughout the course of the last few years.
That's awesome. Gigantic feature story that I wrote for the launch of T102SportsNow.com on this guy. I've known him since you started back at Nativity. And I will say this, in going through records that I dug out and got ready for the football season, I think I have photos of you at every one of your stops from the newspaper when I worked at the newspaper. So it's kind of funny to, not say funny, but neat to see your transition from Nativity to Mount Carmel to Blue Mountain to Hazleton area. I missed one in there. So Danville, to now. All those different stops, they're all different. Small school, single A, Nativity, 6A, Hazleton area, Mount Carmel, which is its own planet. Blue Mountain, Danville, it is. What have you taken from those jobs that, has helped you now?
It's been, I wouldn't trade anything for the world. Now that I'm in the Pottsville area, great place, love it, will never leave. But it was always challenges with the distance and everything else. And once we had success in Mount Carmel, it seemed like there was always momentum. There was always somewhere to go, and something was positive. I made great relationships throughout all my stops. Go to players' weddings, still keep in contact with administrators and with coaches. I wouldn't trade anything in the world. I think what it did for me, the turning point for me was 2014. When I went to Hazleton, because I knew things had to change. I knew I had to do things differently. From a practice schedule, we took over one of the worst programs in Northeast Pennsylvania at that time, if you recall. We ended up playing for 3 sub-region championships. We totally changed the culture. Same thing at Danville. Danville was 4-7 a year before we got there. We totally changed the mindset and the mentality and the energy level. So, but that developed over those other stops and developed for those couple decades there where I learned a lot. And I understand that people are the key. You have to have great people. You can't be afraid to have guys that do a great job and are smarter than yourself. But I think the blueprint we have now at Pottsville has been developed over the last 25 years. I feel like it's working. I feel like my energy level's at an all-time high, even though I'm a little bit older. But I wouldn't trade any of those experiences for anything in the world. But I'm so grateful to be at Pottsville area. I'm so grateful to be in that school with these kids and these coaches and the whole climate in that building that our principal, Tiffany Hummel, sets is incredible. It's a great place to work and a great place to be. And I couldn't think of a better time at this stage of my career with my daughters in the building, being student athletes, to be at Pottsville area.
What are you most looking forward to this year?
Competing. I don't think we're as far off as people think. I think if you watch us in film last year, we competed with some very good football teams. All right. I don't know if there was a total belief. Our weight room thing we're trying to fix. I don't think it's fixed already. I don't think we're going to be right where we need to be right yet, but I think we've been close. We're closer. I think we have enough good players, enough multi-sport kids to be extremely competitive. And that's our goal. That's where I feel like we're going to be. I feel like right from the get-go, we're going to look like a different team, and we're going to compete hard. And that's all we can do right now. I think that's the next step in our program is to learn how to compete, to go out and do it every single Friday night. We've had a ton of energy in the program. We've had people that want to be helpful and supportive. Our weight room is redone. Our stadium is being rebranded. I mean, it's going to look different this year. It's going to look different on Labor Day weekend. So people want to be at Veterans Stadium this year. They want to come out and watch us. And I think our kids are a great group to cheer for. I think if you get to know our kids, you're going to see how these kids are a great group of kids to root for. So I couldn't be happier. And I feel like you're going to see a different Crimson Tide team this year.
Folks, this is Mike Brennan, head coach of Pottsville area Crimson Tide. This is we'll take a break and we'll be back with the final segment of our Fourth and Short podcast here on T102sportsnow.com. Okay, we're back with our final segment for our first edition of our T102sportsnow.com podcast, Fourth and Short. You can catch this podcast on a weekly basis. Myself, Eli, Doyle. We may not be in a remote location like this. We may be stuck in the studio. It depends on the week, depends on the time, some more analysis stuff. Our final segment, we're joined by Schuylkill Haven coach Mike Brennan and their tailback Nico Carastita. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us on.
How's the summer going, guys? What are we up to good?
Oh, we're working every day, 4 days a week, early in the morning. We're just pounding the weights.
Yeah, I make them get up. They got to be here at 7. And, it's bad when the head coach's wife is complaining to me about, why do you make those guys get up? It's their summer. Why do you make them get up at 7? I don't know. There's no real reason other than I just want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And
It's cool in the morning.
we can do that whatever time we want. Well, in all reality, our coaching staff are teachers. So we're not off in the summer. So it just makes, for us, our schedule, it just makes life a lot easier for us. We just get up and get it over with. And I think the kids like it better, even though, they got to get up. But trust me, by 10:30, Nico's already at home. he's in that mode already. He probably gets up around 6. Yeah, and then stays up all night. So.
Mike, you're the president of the Schuylkill County Football Coaches Association. We are at Media Day, and we are sitting in your awesome Schuylkill Haven area school district sports performance center. You guys hosted Media Day today. We were trying to figure out how long this has been going on. We think it's about 20 years or so. I know I've been to every one. I can't remember when the first one was. But just talk about Media Day and being able to gather. You know, today every team was here with 3-4 players, their head coach, the interaction, dealing with the media, and just promoting Schuylkill County high school football.
Yeah, well, for us, it's when I took over in, I don't even know, 2010 or something like that, I took over the association. So we just wanted to keep building and building, making sure our brand is out there, and what do we stand for? What we stand for is developing the best coaches in the state and giving our players the best opportunities. And so we just go out there with that mission every day, and I just try to outdo myself every year. So this year it was just the right fit to come here. Start off football season in our $8 million performance center, which is unbelievable. That and Nico will tell you that it's to be a high school player and have the opportunity to have a facility like this is tremendous. So we're very lucky to have that type of opportunity. But again, I want to continue to provide opportunities for our coaches and players in Schuylkill County. So we want to continue to build our brand, expand our brand, and expand the exposure for our players. And I think we've been doing a pretty good job of that at least the last decade.
Nico, last year Schuylkill Haven makes it to the district final, lose to Williams Valley. You bring a ton of pieces back from that team. You're going to have a new quarterback, and you're going to have a new guy next to you in the backfield because Aiden Myers graduated. But all those big horses up front are back. Talk about what your expectations for this season, and what can we expect from the Hurricanes?
Well, I think our expectations are pretty high. It was upsetting last year. No one was satisfied with the result we got last year. So this year we're gonna, expect higher of ourselves, and keep pounding that rock.
Can you tell us some of Leroy touched on some of the guys that graduated? Can you touch on some of those guys that are filling in those spots in quarterback and next to Nico?
Yeah, well, here's what I will tell you. So I've graduated, I believe, 8,000-yard rushers. And in Schuylkill Haven history, I believe we've had 3 sets of 1,000-yard rushers in this state. This, by far, is the best backfield that Haven's had since I remember 1975. The matchup of speed, quickness, and toughness, they're a very good trio. I'm extremely lucky to have them. Oh, yeah, well, 2 juniors and a sophomore. So we're going to see them for 2 more years. And up front, we just continue to get bigger, faster, stronger. I don't want to say this is the best offensive line I've coached, because the 2008 offensive line was pretty good. But they're definitely up there in the top 3. So then we moved Adam Malinowski from left tackle to tight end this year, because he just has skill sets. One, he's a great blocker. And number 2, he's athletic enough to do the things that we want out of that tight end position, where we don't feel like we need to kind of hide that spot now. And then we moved a kid by the name of Brody Brandon at left tackle, who's going to be a sophomore, 250-pounder. He's getting stronger every day. But he just comes with this balance and toughness. He's quiet, doesn't talk. Honestly, if you didn't really pay attention to it, you really wouldn't know he was even on the field.
Yeah.
So for me as a coach, that's great. It's a great opportunity. And we have, Brian Moran, who's been a multi-year starter at left guard. He's going to have his best season ever. I can see his maturity and the way he just comes to work every day. And then, you have I call them the big 3 because they were all 3 that started as freshmen out of that group. You have Ethan Klein, Wyatt Kiefer and Chase Williams. So you go 255, 290, 345. And those guys are just, the numbers that they put up were off the chart. One thing I don't think everyone realizes, we won the bench press competition this year, which was our goal at the football challenge, without our 345-pound tackle, who would have been good for another 20, 25 reps. So I'm extremely impressed with the amount of work these guys have put in. And now they just got to, last year we had a good run, but it's just not good enough. Our expectations are way higher than that. And there's going to be a lot of good teams on our schedule this year. So, it's going to be an exciting year, but it's going to be a tough year. So,
It's a special year in a case. It's the 100th year of Schuylkill Haven football this year, and you have some events planned. I know the September 6th home game against Shenandoah Valley. There's some kind of alumni thing they're putting together, some kind of special event. The program needs 4 wins for 600, which there's only a select amount of teams in this area that have gotten that far. Perhaps the biggest change to Schuylkill Haven's schedule is week 1 is Blue Mountain, not week 10. Talk about that. The fact that you're playing backyard rival Blue Mountain in week 1, does that make the summer more intense, that that, hey, we got to be ready to go right away?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think over the past couple of years, we owe them a whooping. So I think that gives us a chip on our shoulder. We're going to be ready to play by week 1.
Your schedule, you're in Division 3 of the Schuylkill Colonial Football Cooperative, now 3 divisions instead of 4. 10 teams, all from Schuylkill County. So you don't have to go to Pine Orchard. You don't have to go to Palisades, Catasauqua, Northern Lehigh, any of those places that in Timbuktu that you've had it going in the last 3-4 years. How exciting from a coach is that you're playing Shenandoah, you're playing Mono, you're playing Tri-Valley, Williams Valley, Pine Grove, Panther Valley, the teams from our area that kids play in every other sport.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would use the word excited. I'm looking forward to the change. Remember, we're the football small school program that always wanted to play the big schools. So we never shied away from the competition. I used to take a lot of backlash for that. But I believe that our program, our kids deserve to play the best. And even if it doesn't work out for us, I know that once we get into league play and district play, that we're going to be battle tested and ready to go, which history says that occurs. So I think it's good for Cole Region football. As far as I'm going to miss the games, quite honestly, with Caddy, because they make you tougher. Those games made us tougher last year as a team. And the fact that we overcame all 3 of those Colonial League games, it really did. It made us tougher. That 8-game consecutive win streak that we went on, that run, we won 3 tough games in 2 on the road and 1 at home against quality football teams. Not saying that won't happen again this year with the Schuylkill League, but I am happy that we are playing more local schools. But the old school coach in me, I still want to make sure our kids are having the opportunity to showcase themselves against all the best talent.
And Nico, you strike me as a very task-oriented, goal-oriented person. Besides team stuff, right? Besides winning the district championship, competing states, all that stuff, what personal goals do you have for yourself this year?
Well, I think me personally, I'm shooting for 2,500 yards, 3,000 yards rushing. I think we have the line to do that. Historically, we have done that here. Defensively, I'm Mike Backer, main guy. So I'm shooting towards 125, 150 tackles. So,
Do we have any? Do we lean away? Do we like offense more defense? Anything like that come into play?
Our team needs.
Yep.
I punt sometimes, so.
Yep, that's awesome. That's awesome. And coach, for you, I'll ask Nico this afterwards. But is there any superstitions you have before games? Is there anything that kind of has been Coach Farr's playbook before the game that he needs to do, he needs to think about, needs to reflect about?
Some of it, if I told you, some of it I really can't get into because some of the thoughts that go through me, but probably not something I need the public to know about a lot of times.
Or the world on the internet.
Yeah. So, I mean, early on, I used to listen to the same music, coming across the bridge, boom, hit the music, and same songs would play. And then I went through this phase where I was playing solitaire, even in the locker room in my office. And I had every win, that next week, I had to match the number of wins to the number of wins in solitaire. And there'd be times where we'd be going, just ready to go out in the field, and I'm still getting through it. Like, I got it. Like, God,
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. My coaches would tell you it would be crazy.
Everybody hung up.
So we have the Marian kids playing Retro Bowl and Coach Farr playing solitaire.
They might not be
all at the same time before the game.
Yeah. So I mean, now, I just like getting into, I'm a Rocky guy. I'm a 300 guy. So, like, even as a kid, I tell them, like, listen, when I lose the butterfly stuff, it's time to get out. So I still get a little bit of that. It's more under control now as I get older. But I go to some deep places in my head sometimes.
I hear you. I turn on some Burning Heart from the Rocky track every time I need a little push sometimes.
Yeah.
How about you, Nico? You have anything superstitious you want to tell the people about?
I got a list of my music.
Yeah. What's on there? Anything good?
I'm more like a 90s grunge guy.
Okay.
I have to listen to that, that raspy, raw voice, those vocals.
Yeah.
That gets me going. I put the switch and I'm ready.
Awesome. Folks, this is going to wrap up our first edition of the T102sportsnow.com podcast, Fourth and Short. You can see Eli and I on a weekly basis. We won't necessarily be in a facility this great in weeks to come, but there'll be more following. And thanks for tuning in. You can get complete coverage of Coach Farr, Nico Carastilla, and all the Hurricanes this year on T102sportsnow.com. Thanks for watching.